अधमा पतिते जीवे द्वारे द्वारे गिया हरि नाम महामंते दिछे न बेलैया जारे देखे तारे कोहे दंते त्रिनाधोरी आमारे के नियालो बोलो गौरहारी ये तो बोली नित्यानंद भूमे गड़ी जाए सोनार पर्वत जेनो धूलते लौटाए एनो अवतारे जारा रति न जन्मीरो लोचन बोले से पापी हेलो हर गेलो अक्रोध परमानंद नित्यानंद राय अभिमान शून्य निताय नागरे बेड़ाए हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे नाम संतन की ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय चैतन्य चरितामृत आदि लीला 9.34 एकाला मालाकार आमी कहाँ कहाँ याबा एकलाव कथाफल पाड़िया विलाबा एकला मालाकार आमी कहाँ कहाँ याबा एकलाव कथाफल पाड़िया विलाबा I am the only gardener. How many places can I go? How many fruits can I pick and distribute? Purport by His Divine Grace Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Here Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu indicates that the distribution of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra should be performed by combined forces. Although he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead, he laments, how can I act alone? How can I alone pick the fruit and distribute it all over the world? This indicates that all classes of devotees should combine to distribute the Hare Krishna Mahamantra without consideration of the time, place or situation. एकला उत्थाय दीते होए परिश्रमा केह पाए केह न पाए रहे मोने भ्रमा It would certainly be a very laborious task to pick the fruits and distribute them alone. And still, I suspect that some would receive them and others would not. Therefore, I order every man within this universe to accept this Krishna conscious movement and distribute it everywhere. In this correction, there is a song sung by Bhaktivinoda Thakur, N.H. Ashudi Maya, Nishiba Lagi, Hari Nama Mahamantra Lao Tumo Magi. So Bhakti Vinod Prabhu Charane Padiya, Sahi Hari Nama Mantra Loilo Magya. The Sankirtan movement has been introduced by Sri Mahaprabhu just to dispel the illusion of Maya, by which everyone in this material world thinks himself to be a product of matter, and therefore to have many duties pertaining to the body. Actually, the living entity is not his material body, his spirit soul. He has a spiritual need to be eternally blissful and full of knowledge, but unfortunately identify himself in the body, sometimes a human being, sometimes as an animal, sometimes a tree, sometimes a Kadek, sometimes a demigod, and so on. Thus, with each change of body, he develops a different type of consciousness and different types of activities, and thus becomes increasingly entangled in material existence, transmigrated perpetually from one body to another. Under the spell of Maya or illusion, he doesn't consider the past or future, but is simply satisfied with the short lifespan that he has gotten for the present. To eradicate this illusion, Sri Mahaprabhu has brought the Sankirtan movement, and he requests everyone to accept and distribute it. A person actually a follower of Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur must immediately accept the request of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by offering respectful obeisances unto his lotus feet and thus beg from him the Hare Krishna Mahamantra. If one is fortunate enough to beg from the Lord the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, his life is successful. And Mahaprabhu further says, I am the only gardener. If I do not distribute these fruits, what shall I do with them? How many fruits can I alone eat? Then, Anarpitam charim chirat karnavte no kalo samarpitam unnatujjala rasamsha bhakti shayam Hari purata sundara dutikadam sandipita sada hriddakandare spurti vachati nandana. There were many previous incarnations of Supreme Lord, but none was so generous, kind, and magnanimous as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He distributed the most common aspect of devotion service, namely the conjugal love of Radha and Krishna. Therefore, Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada desired that Mahaprabhu live perpetually in the heart of all devotees, for thus they can understand and relish the loving affairs of Sri Radharani and Krishna. So by the transcendent desire of the Supreme Lord, water has been sprinkled all over the tree, and thus there are innumerable fruits of love of God. Distribute this Krishna conscious movement all over the world, that people eat these fruits and ultimately become free from old age and death. If the fruits are distributed all over the world, my reputation as a pious man will be known everywhere, and thus all people will glorify my name with great pleasure. Jai Sachinandan Gaura Hari. Bharata bhumite hole manusya janmaya janama satakari karaparapka. Bharata bhumite hole manusya janmaya janama satakari karaparapka. So one who has taken his birth as a human being in the land of India should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all other people. It is a duty of every living being to perform welfare activities for the benefit of others with his life, wealth, intelligence and words. By his work, thoughts and words, an intelligent man must perform actions visually beneficial for all living entities in this life and the next. I am merely a gardener. I am neither kingdom nor very great riches. I simply have some fruits and flowers that I wish to utilize to achieve piety in my life. Although I am acting as a gardener, I also want to be the tree, for thus I can bestow benefit upon all. Just see how this tree is. So this is the chapter comes the desire tree of devotional service. Om Gyanti Marandhase Gyanam Jana Shalakaya Chakshu Manitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Mano Vishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Vadanti Sevadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Uta Padkamlam Shri Gurun Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sarajatam Sahagana Raghunatham Vitam Tam Tajivam Savadetam Savadutam Paridana Chahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakam Vitam Cha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Vrishthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pasha Deshatarine Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate Krishnaya Krishtanya Namne Gauretase Nama He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Haripire Ja Kalpa Tarubhyacha Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadha Shivachadi Gaur Bhattavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. I'd like to thank all the devotees who have come for this morning program. Saturday morning program, devotees have been coming regularly. So regularly this Saturday morning program happening, especially for the devotee who spend some time in Krishna consciousness. So what is required in our spiritual life? The first three topics we had about sadhana, then some topics about relationship, and now some topics about preaching. There. So today's topic is about preaching, what's the mode of preaching, how to preach, what to do. So here, Mahaprabhu is, my head is aching. How to distribute this fruits of love of God. So if you see, though to convince a jiva to take to spiritual life is not an easy process, but by mercy of Srila Mahaprabhu, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it has become so easy. Already fruits of love he has given in the form of Hare Krishna Mahamantra, just give it to others. And that is preaching. You make other people chant Hare Krishna and make them feel connected to Krishna, that is what is preaching is, and it becomes so simple. There. Okay. So let's do one exercise. What is preaching? Like some preaching. So one thing is to give Hare Krishna Mahamantra. But what actually preaching is? Like many times, see, there is something called substance and there's something called form. Like Haridas Thakur, he was not having any device classes, Gita course, but he made many, many devotees. There. So there is something called substance and something called form. Substance is the technicalities, like okay, how do you do it? And the substance is what is the substance you are giving to people. So Haridas Thakur, he used to make so many people devotee without any formal program, just by his substance there. So what is that thing we need to give to people to make them devotees? Yes, any answer? Faith in what? Yes, Prabhuji behind. Okay, first satisfy their need, then they will take Krishna consciousness. Artho artharthi jigyasu jnani cha bharashtrabha. Right? 4 types of people. Okay. I wonder what is preaching.
We need to tell them how they are suffering because of forgetting their relationship with Krishna.
Yes, how they are?
Because of forgetting their relationship with Krishna. How much enjoyment they have actually if they would directly connect with Krishna.
Yeah, how much enjoyment they will have?
How much happy they will be.
How much happy they will be. Okay.
So also by our example of how much happy we are by
Yes, so they want to see, people are looking for happiness. A happy devotee is the best preacher. Okay. So what is preaching? If you want to just summarize कि आपने ऐसा कर दिया मतलब preaching हो गया. One is giving Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, but what else? Achar and prachar, presentation, representation. So there's something called presentation and there's something called representation. The presentation is how you present a subject matter conducive to the people. And representation is how do you leave that in life. So just thinking AI is progressing so much. Can AI become a preacher? And can give very convincing answers. From all the preachers, it can subtract, and any question you put, it can give the answers. So can AI become a preacher? It may give answers, but not faith to people. Not his own example to people. So AI has this limitation. So all other fields AI can replace. But preaching is something AI will not able to replace fully. Some percentage load it may take, reaching out to people, marketing, those things it may do, and give information to people. But the faith comes from the life of people. So the only secure job is preaching. Yeah. See, basically, yesterday I was taking the same topic, and one example come, like those who help people getting married. Like we have Kripa Mahakaram Prabhu. So and other. So those who get people get married, what they do? एक लड़का एक लड़की है, इन दोनों को आपस में मिला दिया. And sometimes people feel very grateful to the person who got them married, but if some problem happen, they blame also. So you get the boy and girl meet each other, and शादी हो गया. Same way. Perfect, if something wrong happens, people blame the person who has got them married. But in preaching, you're connecting the jiva to Krishna, and Krishna is a perfect person. So nobody will come and blame you. अरे मुझे क्यों डाल दिया इसमें? There. So just like you make a relationship with the couple, so you connect the jivas to Krishna. That's preaching. The jiva bahirmukha hoye. Abhi now he has developed a lot of misconceptions about Krishna. Like so many people talk about why did Krishna did Rasa Leela, why Krishna did this, why Krishna did that. And you just have to catch a person, tell him, see, Krishna is very nice, he loves you. And if you connect to him, everything in your life will be good, will be okay. And that's the preaching. And now just see Christian preachers are doing that only without knowing also who is God. Where does he stay? What does he do? And there is a one Christian church in Hyderabad where 3 lakh people attend on a Sunday. On a Sunday, 3 lakh people come to attend the Sunday feast. I want to show that video to create some kind of a. Is able to see? Oh, internet connection is not there. The net is not coming here. Oh, is password change? You know the password? And I put done. Sorry, not this one, is the one. This is called Calvary Temple. I'm sorry, YouTube doesn't work on my laptop. So I have a stopgap solution.
Dear friends, this new year,
Oh, no, not this. This one, not this one. Once again. Revival is alive. Yeah, India's largest church, 3 lakh members, and still growing. It's the biggest church of the world. Even US and other countries, not such a big churches there, what he has made.
Calvary Temple is India's largest church with more than 300,000 members. As their percentage now on a mission to build 40 more mega churches.
Most roads in Hyderabad on Sundays lead to Calvary Temple. It's a little after 4 in the morning, and side streets around the church are already jammed as church volunteers coordinate traffic. Shuttle buses, auto rickshaws, and motorcycles ferry thousands of people, all trying to get here some 2 hours ahead of Calvary's first of 5 services that begin at 6. By sunrise, the faithful have taken their seats. The main sanctuary holds 18,000 people, supported by adjacent Bethlehem Hall with 15,000, and a third structure accommodating more than 3,000. Hundreds more watching on television screens scattered around the sprawling Calvary campus. Pastor Satish Kumar preaches all 5 services, with the last one ending at 8 p.m.
I be given grace to pastor this church, which practices the word of God, which is beyond my dream and imagination.
Calvary Temple started in 2005 with about 24 people. Well, today it boasts more than 300,000 members, making it this nation's biggest church and one of the largest in the world. They have 11 satellite churches with plans of more nationwide expansion.
God put a burden in my heart to establish 40 mega churches, just like what you see here, during next 10 years.
Pastor Kumar says the church adds some 3,000 new believers each month in a sign that the Lord is moving mightily across the country.
God's hand is upon India. It's a time for India to reach the lost, not only within the country, across the globe.
In addition, the church produces over 650 television programs each month in 17 of the country's major languages for broadcast on national television.
Not only within the nation, even Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Gulf countries.
Millions more follow on social media. The reason for the church's success?
Preaching the pure word of God is what attracts people, and practicing the word of God, what keeps people within the church.
That practical demonstration on full display here each Sunday. Narayana Podili works as a civil engineer during the week. On Sunday, he leads an army of 150 church volunteers who spend hours chopping, slicing, peeling, and stirring, all to prepare free breakfast, lunch, and dinner meals for 50,000 people.
We are committed to come here every Sunday at 3:30, 4 a.m. in the morning, and we keep working till evening.
Nagavelli Mandim has served in the Calvary kitchen for 7 years after making a promise to God that if he healed her cancerous tumor, she would serve the church in this capacity.
Because I made that promise, God healed me completely without surgery. God cleared the tumor in my chest. As a thanksgiving to him, I serve here at the Lord's house.
She and volunteers feed more than 200,000 people each month.
In India, we say service to mankind is service to God. So that is what we try to practice. We try to show God's love in action in every possible way that we find.
Calvary also has an on-campus hospital where members get free medical treatment on Sundays and medicines at reduced cost.
The majority of people who come here are poor and cannot afford the treatment.
Members also have access to church facilities to hold marriages. And when a church member passes away, Calvary handles all funeral, burial, and meal arrangements. Again, all for free.
And one of the things you do is when somebody's having a birthday,
Yes,
you send them,
a cake.
that's a lot of cakes.
Yes,
350,000 people.
absolutely.
In 2007, Calvary Temple created an access card system, the first of its kind, to follow up with members and their families.
I've got thousands of people. How do I know that who hasn't showed up on Sunday? As I was praying, God put access card into my mind.
Each member must swipe their card when attending any one of the 5 Sunday services.
Without fail, if we don't show up to church, we get a call. They'll ask me why I didn't come to church, and after they find out, they will pray for me. I'm happy when I receive that call. The fact that they care for us is really special, and because of that, we will surely come to the next service.
Pastor Kumar says prayer has always been an integral part of their success. The church has held 40 days of prayer and fasting since 2005, drawing tens of thousands of young participants to stadiums around the country.
During this 40 days fasting prayers, I teach from Genesis till Revelation. Every book I try to explain. Hundreds and thousands of young kids read Bible.
Each month, the church, along with its satellite campuses, holds a night with God as members pray for revival.
About 25,000 to 30,000 people join together. That has been the biggest, largest online prayers in our nation.
In recent years, however, India has witnessed an unprecedented uptick in violence against Christians.
The more the persecution, the more the church growth. And that's what's happening in India.
Most attacks carried out by Hindu extremist groups who accuse Christians of forcibly converting people to Christianity. Pastor Kumar, a Hindu convert to Christianity himself, says resistance produces power.
It's my passion, my burden, that before I die, I want to see every Indian will hear the gospel and know the Savior.
So one, if you don't preach now, future you may not have a chance to preach on it. But so many lessons we can learn from this, and it's really make you spirited, what we are doing. We have so much. See, Prabhupada, those Christians who lost faith, Prabhupada went and taught them Bhagavad Gita. And they're not able to teach Bhagavad Gita to Indians only. And Indians are looking to know Bhagavad Gita, but we are not able to teach it there. And so much scope of preaching we have. See, here is one pastor, but in Krishna consciousness, every devotee becomes a pastor. Becomes a preacher there. So, Pran Hetu, Prachar hai. And Mahaprabhu Krishna himself is coming, fruits of love of God. So, what are they doing? After eating meat, they are doing so much preaching. Think about it. Prabhupada said, thou shalt not kill. But after eating meat, they are doing so much preaching. And we are falling forward to the principle of how much preaching we should do. Of course, their preaching has a lot of fringe benefits also. But you get free marriage, free death, free hospitals, everything. So many poor people like to join. So that's how to increase the number is easy, and we have full training and everything. But still, if you see this, the way Prabhupada preached, there's so much faith in Krishna. The Prabhupada expanded all over the world. That's amazing. And I've seen, even within India, if you see the growth of congregation in Chapati at one point of time, I remember there were 2,000 devotees in 2006 Yatra. It was remarkable. And you see how the daily preaching has happened. Now in 2004 I would go in Delhi, 2007, 2008, there was no devotee. And now to every train you go, you find a devotee. You'll encounter a devotee. So many devotees there. So so that means to say, and Bangalore also preaching is increasing. But it could increase a more better rate if devotees combinedly with organized preaching and with right values we preach. And that's why what are the right values for preaching is very important to know, and you can touch the hearts of people there. And actually Bhakti-Riksha has done a lot of preaching. His Zoni and Jamalaka Swami Maharaj's vision was that rather than people coming to temple, let Bhakti-Riksha go to their home, net bhakti homes, bhakti steps. There. So whatever works for preaching, that's what the approach we should take. And here one thing I like is the shelter. People feel very much sheltered. So when there is a mentor system, like everybody is looking, oh, is there a devotee above me who cares for me? When devotees don't find that, they feel little left out. But that's where the major preaching goes. And he said a very amazing point. What we also said, if you preach pure word of God, people will come. And if you practice pure word of God, people will remain. And same thing we speak. Purity is the force. If you speak Bhagavad Gita as it is, as Prabhupada did, people came. And people saw Prabhupada practicing that, the people remained. And same thing we say, without Acharya you cannot do Prachar. People will come, but they will go away when you don't practice with it. So therefore this topic, preaching with knowledge, conviction, and compassion. So what does it preaching with knowledge means? So once Bhaktivedanta Maharaj was giving a class, he said, see, generally we say, okay, you just go and repeat in the class. You just go and repeat in the class. Yes, one person will become a devotee, that's you. And when you get realizations of what you are speaking, others will become devotees. So therefore, initially, when we are preaching, if nobody becomes a devotee, don't get, अरे क्या हो गया? अरे you have become a devotee. And if you continue preaching, Krishna will give you realization by which others will become devotees. So keep preaching. That's very important. And see, preaching is mainly based on sambandha gyan. If we feel our sambandha with Krishna, and if we feel that others are missing that sambandha, you just go and preach about that. And people find a relationship with Krishna, they become devotees. So that's the whole preaching all about. The sambandha gyan. So preaching with knowledge. So knowledge of Krishna's ownership and enjoyship. So unless we have faith that when we are going for preaching, Krishna is there with us. And Krishna can transform people's heart. See, when we think, how will I preach, how will I make people convinced, it's look very hopeless case. And that's why we don't feel like to go out and preach. When we have faith on ourselves, we get more. Like Prabhupada was going on the ship in Jaldut. I was saying, oh Lord, I'm just a puppet. How these people of America will understand Bhagavatam? See, Indians can still understand it. Americans, how they will understand? They never heard the name of Krishna. They don't know what is, sense control also. Indians at least know something about sense control. There. How will you make them follow 4-area principle? No meditating, no intoxication, no gambling. Hearing this, you will feel discouraged, demotivated and hopeless. And Prabhu said, Lord, you only can remove the mode of passion and ignorance. I'm a puppet in your hand. So Krishna Shakti vina nahi hua tara pravartan. So one thing preaching does, it makes us to take shelter of Krishna. And to a degree, we take shelter of Krishna in our preaching, you will see magic happening. things beyond us will happen because Krishna can do things, acharyas can do things beyond us. But when we just preach with logistics, you see it doesn't work out. But when we preach through this faith that Krishna has a greater power, Krishna can do magic, and magic happens. And that's what Srila Prabhupada did. He did which is humanly impossible. And that's how the Christians are preaching. Have faith in God, your everything will be okay. It's more Karam Mishra Bhakti than giving Mishra Bhakti, that your material life will be okay, just have faith in God. That's what they have more, this thing in a high missionary spirit. But ours is something more higher, having a relationship with Krishna there. So if we can give them that faith and have faith, and that's what is so much amazing with it, to give them faith. And so as Rudy said, that preaching is about faith. Yes, it's about faith with knowledge of Krishna. Faith in our sambandha with Krishna. There. So when you understand that Krishna is enjoying, Krishna is there. So Naveen Neeraj Prabhu, he gives book distribution seminar. So he was telling how he goes and distribute books. He will pray, Krishna, I just need a magic. And then pray intensely and give the book, and the person will take the book. So many of the book distributors, they feel great helplessness in Krishna to distribute books, and the books get distributed. When we go out, books don't get distributed because we don't feel that helplessness. Same with preaching. When you feel helpless among Krishna, I want to make this person, please make this person devotee, then Krishna does something wonderful and something amazing happens. So that faith is what preaches than the conventional preaching. And most of our preaching has happened like that, people transforming. And in India you get ready-made devotees also, who are looking for Krishna. But that number is very less. But you get theoretical knowledge. Now, if we are doing sun certification, how we will convince others you are not his body, you are spirit soul? We may give a class on you are not his body, you are spirit soul, but people won't understand unless we are living it. Knowing sense gratification is poison. The Sambandha Gyan, most comprehensive jnana. So, Narad Muni tells you, Vyasdev, why have written so many scriptures? Just teach Bhagavad Dharma to people. And just like a milk causes loose motion, the same milk transformed to curd cures the loose motions. In the same way, the work is entangle people. But work done in devotion to Krishna disentangle people. And that's what you go and teach people. So we can just teach people how to engage themselves in Krishna. They're very happy to do it and they feel great happiness. And that's an art. From Jnani Bhakta to Rasika Bhakta. The transition. So knowledge, Jnani Bhakta to Rasika Bhakta. So Jnani Bhakta means you just talk about karma, just talk about this, talk about that. And people are convinced, but do not bring transformation. But when they feel the relationship with God, that brings transformation in them. This a preacher has to very much emphasize of people to feel that transformation. And one of the things you see, Christians, they pray a lot. Very prayerful, dependent attitude and things. And early Prabhupada had the same mood. Prabhupada's followers had the same mood. Zeal for preaching. So here the verse Prabhupada writes in 3.21.31 that how one should give his energy for serving Krishna. One time Srila Prabhupada was in Vrindavan and all Prabhupada disciples were there. And then Prabhupada was telling, see, here in Vrindavan, people get up morning 2 o'clock, chant 64 rounds, eat once a day. They're doing so much tapasya to go back to Godhead. So do you feel we all can go back to Godhead? So the only way is if you preach. Then Mahaprabhu's mercy will take you. So Mahaprabhu's mercy will come when we preach. Because he has come to distribute the fruits of love of God. And he says, oh, you're distributing fruit of love of God. He'll give you mercy. So therefore, just don't think if living a comfortable spiritual life, we can go back home, back to. We have to become an instrument of Krishna's grace by preaching. And when we become that instrument of Krishna's grace, that actually helps us to grow. And sense gratification goes in the background. But there's no time for sense gratification. And many of the devotees here, yesterday was a Bhakti Yoga class, today morning is this class, then evening is Gita program, tomorrow morning is test, and afternoon another class, or some other preaching program. Where is the time for sense gratification? See, to say no to sense gratification is very difficult. But you pack yourself in Krishna consciousness so much that there is no time for sense gratification. And that easily happens by preaching. Of course, those who are mothers of small children, their priority is to take care of the child. So different phase of life, there could be different priorities. But the best way to grow in Krishna consciousness is preaching. And preaching and learning. Shravanam, Kirtanam. So first we come ourselves, learn under a teacher, learn under a mentor, learn guidance, and then give it to others. If we don't do it, 1-2 hours more a period of time, they reduce there. But when we keep giving, it becomes fresh and fresh. And our giving should not be so much that we become empty. One story comes. One time there was a farmer who was going for an outing, for some outside visit. And he told that this well is there, there is a gold over here. And he left. And when he came back, he saw that all the crops were very nicely cultivated. And the wife asked the secret, what's the secret? Why the crops are so nice? Cultivated. And the farmer said, see, actually there was no gold. I knew some thieves were hearing. So thieves were taking out water every day. So all my crops got water and no gold came, and that's why it's so green. So when we preach with ulterior motive without nourishing ourselves, it's like that. The crops get thing, but we don't get nourished. So having right motives and preaching is very important. Taking in. Sometimes people preach so much, they don't have a time to attend the classes themselves. So therefore devotees are coming, Saturday morning programs, Bhakti Yoga classes, that's something very special thing so that we can preach more. So Jeev, Pran Hetu Prachar hai. And even before coming to Krishna consciousness, I was very much inspired by one shloka from Bhagavad Gita. And Krishna says, Nacha tasman manusheshu kashin pire krittamaha. Nacha tasman manusheshu kashin pire krittamaha. Bhavita nacha me tasmad anne pire taro bhavi. There is nobody more dear to me, no servant more dear to me who preaches my message. And in future also, there will be nobody as dear to me who will be there. So there is no servant in this world more dear to me than he, nor will there ever be one more dear. So, and what Krishna says, for one who explains the supreme secret of devotees, pure devotion service is guaranteed. And at the end, he will come back to me. So this was very inspiring to me. But the problem was, after the third shloka, it says, because I was reading some other Gita, not Prabhupada's Gita, that don't speak to atheists, don't speak to a faithless. I said, फिर बोले किसको? Because all around boys were like that. So बोले किसको ये नाले? So then enthusiasm got there. Only when you met devotees, then you can preach. Because Prabhupada said, at least one person will be faithful. You preach for him, others may just hear. So this is a very important. What is the secret of people developing their relationship with Krishna? There. So therefore, preaching is so important there. And Prabhupada was so enthusiastic for preaching. Even in Prabhupada was on the bed. He was not able to lift up. And devotees were calling. He was like, we'll go for preaching. And Prabhupada went to London also and came back in very poor health and thing. And Prabhupada said, when I'm hearing book distribution score, that is giving me life. There. So preaching is what? And direct soft-heartedness towards saving drowning souls, not just the material bodies. So direct soft-heartedness towards saving drowning souls. So लोग already जो हैं drown कर रहे हैं, उनको बचाना. So when a person is drowning, what will you save? His coat or the person? You save the person, not the coat. There. So many people do food for life, this, that. That is like saving the coat. But giving them Krishna is what? Saving the person. There. Saving the soul. There. And beginning of knowledge is sense control. And unless we connect them to Krishna, it's mundane compassion. And Sukdev Goswami, he was not to be seen, but out of compassion, he came to give knowledge to Parikshit Maharaj. There. So, to the degree we have realizations and we speak with realization, people get transformed. So, one devotee was talking about God in a room to a boy, and suddenly light went off. And he just took a notice and said, see, here light is gone. The light is gone. And we're not able to see each other. Same way, without God, we cannot know who we are. And that convinced the boy like anything. So when we can see the world and relate to people, like some businessman came to Prabhupada. Prabhupada did not start talking them the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. He said, see, I went with 40 rupees to America. Now I come with 40 crore rupees. How Krishna consciousness is. And they said, please tell more, tell. So how to connect the people to their interest? There's something very important with it there when we are preaching. Unless you get their interest, it's difficult. Like Prabhuji had shown, find out what is there. And especially when you have genuine concern for people, Paramatma inspires what to speak. See, if you see, in demigod worship, Krishna is telling that he is involved at all this time. Who gives faith to the people in the demigod? Krishna. Who gives the power to demigod to bestow the benefit? Krishna. Isn't it? So everything Krishna is only doing, they just become Nimitta Matra. Same way in preaching, Krishna is only doing, we just become Nimitta Matra. Who will give faith to the person? Krishna. Who will give right words to speak? Krishna. Transform it. And it just has to become a humble instrument. That's why we only begin preaching on the order of senior devotees, or Guru Parampara. Without that, one general order is there, but we always seek blessings from the senior devotees before preaching. Well, that's how it is empowered with the Lord. So to a degree we see Krishna's hand in our life, we can show Krishna's hand in their life. And that transforms people. And if we do not give them philosophy rightly, like when some accident happened to a devotee, so many people who are attending his class, they left practicing Krishna consciousness. Because they were taking on a very sentimental level. They understand that Lord Krishna protects your soul, not only the body. Krishna may sometimes take your body and take your soul back to Godhead. People can't understand. So we should not leave our people on a sentimental platform. Preaching should awaken them with knowledge. So preaching with knowledge. Yeah. Read this loudly. Anybody who can read loudly.
If there is no preaching, there is no moderation. You can sit down and show people, I have now become a very liberated soul, and chant and meditate. That means sleeping. This sort of business is condemned by my Guru Maharaj, Pratishtara. This is simply cheating. He does not approve this kind of business. He wanted to see that everyone is engaged in preaching work. some sort of preaching work, either indoor or outdoor. When you are indoor, you have to be busy writing articles for a magazine and proofread and so many things indoors. In outdoors, you have to go door to door, make them members, make them interested in this movement, collect money for expenses outdoor. Preaching, you have to meet opposing elements. So many will criticize, so many will attack. The time Prabhu was hurt personally, but still outdoor. This is missionary work, not that whenever I find some opportunity, go to some solitary place and sleep. This is not missionary life. So we should adjust things, not that alright it is going on, that's all. You have got very responsible business, this Krishna consciousness. It is genuine, it is authorized, and Lord Chaitanya wants us to do it all over the world. The things should be adjusted and keep us always alive to our self-responsibility. That is missionary life, not to give away.
Right? So either indoor or outdoor. Like nowadays, preaching has gone a lot of indoor, in the sense of Zoom classes, online preaching. There. Preaching with conviction. Okay, why we should preach? So first we saw what preaching means. See, there's a difference between teacher, preacher and a mentor. There's a difference between teacher, preacher and a mentor. Anyone? Yeah. And yes, Abhijit.
Degree of involvement in another person's life. Teaching is more mental. Preaching is we have got to enter his heart tendency. And mental is more involved in his life.
Yes. See, टीचर पढ़ा के चला जाता है, समझ में आया नहीं आया वो उसकी जिम्मेदारी नहीं है. प्रीचर लोगों को समझा के चला जाता है, वो प्रैक्टिस करे ना करे उसकी जिम्मेदारी नहीं है. पर मेंटर इज वन हु सेज दैट पीपल अप्लाई द मैसेज इन लाइफ. So teaching, preaching and mentoring. So knowledge is more about teaching. Conviction more about preaching. And compassion is about care for people, mentoring. Then people's heart get transformed. See, in a varnashrama, preaching was sufficient. Because already there's a varnashrama, people are following 4 ranks, just give them a mantra and go on. But what Prabhupada did, he did mentoring. How he did mentoring? Disciples came to him, Prabhupada, we can't follow this. We have this. Like, Mike and Jen were unmarried. And they were living together. They got initiated. And they read the rules and regulations, no illicit sex. And then they come, and Prabhupada said, what should do? Prabhupada will get married. And Prabhupada got them married. That's mentoring. Prabhupada is making them apply. Marriage करना एक सन्यासी का काम नहीं है. But Prabhupada was ready to do that because there was no other marriage wala pandit ji there in US that time. So Prabhupada was gone to that extent, and that's mentoring. Yes or no? So Prabhupada did a lot of mentoring. He gave a lot of personal time to people. That's how the initial group of devotees became very solid. Just class is not there. In Mahaprabhu's time, Varnashrama, it's not so much needed. Varnashrama. People are there. But when Varnashrama is not there, so much of gallons of mentoring goes away. There. Even Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur said that gallons of blood required to make a person devotee. See, even 100 years when Varnashrama was there, Bhaktivedanta Thakur was preaching, still so much of personal care and concern would be required. In a Varnashrama it's required less, without Varnashrama it requires much more. Because people face problem, their conditioning trouble us. Following four-year principle is a big thing for them. Chanting Hare Krishna, their mind troubles so much. So there's no mentoring, they will leave the process and go. But Varnashrama में क्या होता है, मंत्र मल गया बस जपते रहो, क्या दिक्कत की बात है. Because already Brahmanical life is tied, those who are Brahmanas in the Varnashrama, for them to practice Krishna consciousness is a cakewalk. Just they got the mantra and whole life they keep on chanting and they will achieve perfection. There. But now people, my God, there are so many habits, pornography, this addiction, that addiction, उसको solve करते करते so much time. Of course, others people leave process and go away with it. So, there. So preaching is about how you should present that people are convinced. जैसे पहले प्रभु जी ने बोला, पहले जो वो चाहते हैं पहले वो दो. Other people will not come for the next session only. If you directly start with the topmost philosophy in the first session, next session you may not be able to give class. Or after 4 or 5 sessions, लोग चले जाएंगे. So preaching means what should you preach that people remain till the end. And step by step elevating them. That's the art of preaching. Right presentation. अब देखो भक्ति शास्त्री कोर्सेज अच्छे होते हैं. You know, people can't leave anywhere, it's a course. And they're already devotees. The teaching Bhakti Shastri, Bhakti Bhava is much easier than preaching. Preaching में थोड़ा गलत बोल दिया वो बंदा अगले हफ्ते नहीं आएगा. उसको क्या है? उसको कोर्स तो किया नहीं है. कुछ उसे एनरोल तो किया नहीं है आपने. और कोर्स एनरोल भी किया तब भी नहीं आएगा वो करके. भक्ति शास्त्री को सर्टिफिकेट लेने का है. ऑलरेडी डिवोटीज हैं. कुछ ऊपर नीचे बोल भी दिया तो दे विल टेक इट अप एंड आस्क क्वेश्चन. Go ahead. But preaching has got a lot of sensitivity. One statement wrong you tell and the next class person is not there. One congregation class I was taking and it was Hari Bhari. I don't know what topic to take. I took device 5. Substance and shadow. How material beauty is false. Many people drop after that class. Of course, those who remain, they were solid, good people. So, what time, what to preach, what level to preach is very, very important. And especially what transforms people is our bhakti. Jnana may hold people, but bhakti inspires people, elevates people, gives them faith. So to that degree, our preaching could be more bhakti oriented. Because Gita talks about karma, jnana and bhakti, all the three. So if you do not give bhakti from Gita to people, they may not become solid devotees. Continue. So bhakti has to come. Of course, if people are very jnani kind, so first you have to satisfy their jnana, then give bhakti. Directly they may not take bhakti there. But the people are very logical and rational nowadays. When you do English, especially English classes and things. If you don't speak rationally, people will go away. People won't come in the next class. So this availability. Another story is there of Rama Mishra. Yamunacharya became a devotee. How many heard that Yamunacharya, how Yamunacharya became devotee? How many of you not heard this story, how Yamunacharya became a devotee? Okay, only a few, but still there. So this child Yamuna was there. And now what happened is Yamuna had a debate with one Kolahal, and he was a small child, and this Kolahal was a big Pandit. And the queen and the king had a debate. Queen said, if Kolahal wins, I'll become your maidservant. And king said that if this boy wins, I will give half of my kingdom to this boy. So this was the bet between the king and the queen. Now this boy, Yamuna, asked 3 questions to Kolahal, that your mother is a barren woman, king is sinful, and queen is unchaste. You have to prove it. करे हमारे अरे वो खुद पैदा हुआ तो हाँ मदर इज बैरन और किंग यहीं बैठा सिंफुल बोल दिया तो यहीं गला कट जाएगा एंड क्वीन को बोल दिया तो गया ही couldn't prove it. But the small child Yamuna, he said, see, Manusmriti says if a woman gives birth to only one child, she's a barren woman. So that was barren. You have to prove through the word of the scriptures. Second, if the king, because king assumes 1/6 of the sinful reactions of people, whatever, pious and sinful, both he assumed. And because people are more sinful in Kali Yuga than pious, therefore king is sinful. And since the king is the person representing all the demigods and a queen is associating with all the demigods, she is unchaste. And he won, and he got half kingdom. But he forgot his studies. He was absorbed in the kingdom, forgetting his. Sometimes when big project come, devotees forget their shastric studies. And that's where the troubles start coming in one's life. Huh? Big projects. Management also is necessary, but one should not give up Shastric study. Of course, here, even devotees who are involved in management, they're all attending Bhakti Vaibhava course and things. That's very amazing by the inspiration of Maharaj. So so he became in conquering kingdoms, married many, many queens. But his grandfather Nath Muni had told to Ram Mishra, he left, but he said, you should make my grandson devotee. He's a very powerful person. Now, how do you make king a devotee who's absorbed in winning kingdoms? It's not easy. Even though he has a pious background, एक राजा को भक्त बनाना आसान काम नहीं है. अभी जाओ किसी एमएलए को भक्त बना के आओ. Is it easy or it's very tough job? किसी एमएलए आपको टास्क मिले, a special master give you a task. Go and make the MLA of Gandhinagar and Shivaji Nagar, Gandhinagar as a devotee. Gandhinagar is MLA consultancy. There, it's not easy task. They don't have time to hear your thing. But he devised a plan. Every day he will supply a shark to the cook. And such a shark which bring mind into mode of goodness. So king will like it, the shark, and one day stop bringing. Hey, aaj shark nahi aaya. It was not a commonly available shark. Aaj shark nahi aaya. Then the cook called a meeting with Ram Mishra. And then Ram Mishra told, see, your grandfather has left a big treasure. He said, yes, give me treasure. I have to win many kingdoms. I need a lot of treasure. So the king is telling, I need a lot of treasure. Come, you have to come alone. And he took him to Srirangam. From the Pandya kingdom to Srirangam. And on the way he keep reciting Bhagavad Gita. Now king has started to get his previous memories, but I think come to 9th chapter, 12th chapter, king said, oh, I don't want treasure, let us sit here and hear Bhagavad Gita. I said, no, you should get it. Your grandfather wanted the kingdom, let us go on. And that treasure was Lord Ranganath. I said a treasure protected by 7 walls, one yaksha comes to protect it. That's Vibhishan. And he got so much immersed, he never came back in bhakti. So that means how an individual person will become a devotee could be different. So when we run courses, like we do a course and things, that's good. But that may not make all people devotees. Because how an individual person will become a devotee is different, and only when preachers text their brain, pray to Krishna, how we can make this jiva as devotee. What is his need? Then people become devotees. Invite people to your home, for having a prasad. It helps a lot. Then they invite you to do kirtan in your home. So that's how you enter people's life. Otherwise, it's always like in youth preaching, boys goes to the hostels, talk to a boy. Then the preaching starts. Just coming to the session preaching doesn't. You may get very pious people. But if you want to make people devotees, people have to open up. Guhyam akhyati prachati. And then people open up, you should not comment. Because people will have a lot of non-devotional traits. You comment upon it, then gone. So you require a lot of tolerance, a lot of maturity. That how the people have all bad habits they will have, their home, all types of things will be there. So without, speaking, and that's what exactly Prabhupada was successful for. He never found fault with hippies for taking drugs. He did not find fault with hippies coming with girlfriend, sitting in front of a Swamiji. What all Prabhupada tolerated, he just saw them as servant of Krishna, a child of Krishna. So how much Prabhupada tolerated without commenting anything there, and they respected Prabhupada so much, and they became devotees. Prabhupada staying in the house of Sally girl, she is keeping meat in the fridge. हम होते तो एक दो सेशन ही दे देते थे. How meat eating is dangerous, and then you have to be out of home next day. Prabhupada tolerated that for the purpose of preaching. So a lot of tolerance is required when we are preaching. A lot of forgiveness is required. A lot of sensitivity is required. Make people comfortable. Because people cannot take. So what way we deal with people is very important. How lovingly we deal them, how much we want them. Sometimes class is over, but nobody's talking to people only. All devotees and facilitators, they just engage in serving prasadam, but there's no one to talk to people. Then how do you expect people will keep coming for the program? Only when you talk to the people, know about their life, inspire them in their life, then people start feeling connection. Tell them some stories which inspire in their life. Okay. Then people start becoming devotees. So preaching is a great art. How you spend time with people during prasadam, after the program, is very, very important. And then when people call you, they want to tell you you are available. So that makes a lot of sense, especially the preacher. The preacher is giving class, he is available for people, he connects people to the mentors. So it's a full-fledged system. Teaching, preaching and mentoring. Then people become devotees. If we just leave it at the stage of just giving a class and go, we see after some time program stops. How much experience of it? Because mentoring had not happened. And call, you should send them some message, their birthday comes, remember. So when you focus upon people, that's how, that compassion, you pray for them. Then you see, Krishna will arrange their life that they keep coming. So preaching is a work of a lot of consciousness. You have to put a lot of consciousness in. May not time. In congregation preaching is one thing very good. Sunday to Sunday preaching also works. In congregation preaching. That's why congregation preaching is much easier than youth preaching. Youth preaching you have to give everyday time. Otherwise boy माया में चला ही जाएगा करके. Even 1 week to 1 week में 5 दिन में इतना माया में चला जाएगा कि अगले week वो आ ही नहीं पाएगा. But congregation preaching, people are busy in their office, things, they feel great relief coming to the center. Because already so much troubles in the life. Husband, wife, झगड़ा, office की मार. तो they are waiting Sunday कब आना है. But boys के पास बहुत सारे options होते हैं enjoy करने के. Or boys or girls, whatever, youths, unmarried youths have a lot of options to enjoy. But when people become married, people don't have much option. They feel there, it's much easier. But then when they come, how do you treat them? And first of all, get a good registrations first. If we don't have good registrations, we're not able to cater the needs. So first, working hard, that more intake should be there. And then how the people who have come, how we treat them, how they feel enlightened, and that's how people, they keep coming and they feel inspired. So why are we preaching? Why we should preach? It's why we should preach.
Because we have this holy name, Krishna himself, and they want Krishna. They're searching
To give Krishna to people. Okay. Very nice. So what duty? Bharat bhumi te janma hone wala jam sarta karo karma karo. Mahaprabhu said, so our duty. It helps us.
When we are happy ourselves following what we learn, how we can not preach sin and suffering?
So Mata says, how can we not preach? We are killing his soul. Is not preaching is violence. If you are not preaching, you are doing violence. I am not saying proper rights in Bhagavad Gita. I have never read that. If you are not preaching, you are committing violence. Because you see, suppose now COVID time, everyone is dying around you, and you got the formula which can save people from death. and you don't give to other people, will it be selfish and violent or not? What do you think? Same is the situation with preaching. You know everyone is going to hell. If you see the lifestyle of average Bangalore person, everybody is going to hell. And we have the means to save people from hell, but हम बस केवल अपने संसार में busy हैं. It's violence. We're not reaching out to people. And we will not get Krishna's mercy. But when we go out, then Krishna's mercy will come because there is a compassion. Compassion is a virtue of a Vaishnava. Para dukha, dukhi, para sukha, sukhi. Just to care about one's own spiritual life is not a virtue of a Vaishnava. So when we want other people to become devotees, other people to come to Krishna, then the Vaishnavism, right? And Prabhupada emphasized so much in his purport that a devotee is not satisfied just by practicing himself. Na evuttuje paraduratte vetranasta tadavire gayan mahamrita magna chitta shoche tato vimkuche sindayata maya sukhaya bharam utvato vimodan. That Prahlad is saying that, oh Lord, people may ask, what about you? You may go into Vaitarni river, because if you stay in this material world, someday or the other you may commit some sin. Then you may go to Vaitarni Nadi. What about you? No Lord, I am happy remembering your pastimes. Tadavira gayan mahamrita. I am concerned about fools and rascals who are simply enjoying in this false illusory pleasures. Maya sukhaya bharam utvato vimodan. I'm happy, Lord, just simply remembering your pastime, but I'm concerned about these fools who are enjoying Maya sukh. Maya sukhaya utvato vimodan. So this is compassion there. And one of the important reasons is, one time proper disciple asked, Prabhupada, what can we do for you? How can we, you have done so much for us. What can we do for you? And Prabhupada said, what I have given you, you give it to others. So when we care for people who are coming to Krishna, it requires a lot of sacrifice. But that pleases Krishna so much with it. And we forget our problems. When you care for others and help others to grow in Krishna consciousness, what happens? We forget our problems. Otherwise, while doing Krishna consciousness, whole time we struggle with our problems only. To a grahastha life, you cannot say you don't have problems. They'll have problems. When we are in material world, even in brahmachari ashram, there are problems. So problems are always there in this world. But when you take problems on behalf of Krishna, we forget our problems. Because para dukha, dukhi. Therefore, preaching is very important for devotees to grow. A Kanish Adhikari is simply happy worshipping the deities. But Madhyam Adhikari is not happy without giving Krishna to others. So if we want to come from Kanishta to Madhyama stage, we should preach. Because when we preach, we know how to deal with devotees also. If you can't deal with devotees, how will you deal with the newcomers? वो भाग जाएंगे आपकी आवाज़ से. That's why if people are not Madhyam Adhikaris, the community will not grow. New people देख के डर के भाग जाएंगे पर वही आने के. The Kanish Adhikari will have lot of rough edges, which will make people shoo away from Krishna. But Madhyam Adhikaris will have smooth edges. We feel compassion for people and people like to stay. They shelter people. So, Kanish Adhikari is only satisfied with his own Shravan, Kirtan and Krishna. That's all. He can't see that other people are suffering. And let me come out and preach. See, preaching is not about number. अरे हमें number बढ़ाने का है, बड़ा करने का है. That's more of passion. You लोग इतना कर रहे हैं, हम भी करेंगे. So that's more of a mode of passion. But in preaching, mode of goodness is feeling of compassion. Or we don't have compassion, we feel the Acharya's compassion. How much the great souls are worrying about preaching in the world. How Prabhupada wanted to preach, how our spiritual masters want to preach. So that feeling drives us as mode of goodness. There. And that goodness, preaching in mode of goodness is very stable. So we can do preaching in mode of passion. There's simply competition, show big, बड़ा number करना है, बड़ा करके दिखाना है. That's not the thing which satisfies Krishna. When we feel as our responsibility that I have been given so much, I should give it to others. Krishna will be pleased, is bhakti. So you should pray to Jagannath. How can I bring more souls to you, my Lord? They are worshipping, dancing, chanting about you. It's a service. You make a garland to Jagannath, it's a service. You make a garland of new devotees and give it to Jagannath, is a greater service. If you do with right attitude. So it's very important for a community to grow, to preach others. So we should discover pockets of resistance, boast of our faith. If we choose to live with unexamined faith, we'll become complacent. Means go out for preaching, then our faith also increases. When people say, no, Arek, tum kya kar rahe ho, then our faith actually increases. Preacher is one who gives Krishna to others. Harinam, not enough to follow enthusiastic leader, but realize, why am I going to Harinam? Why am I going to preaching? So our motivation should be very proper. False enthusiasm is self-righteousness than deep faith. By experience, a devotee becomes more sensitive to others. I was talking to Among Leela Prabhu, he was telling how he became a good preacher. He said, anytime he spoke something, Paramatma in his heart will tell you, you should not have spoken like this, you should not have spoken like this. Like that training, he became a preacher. So you should contemplate after class, कि मैंने क्या सही बोला, how was the impact, what way I should improve. The self-improvement should be there in preaching. And that way we develop sensitivity preaching. Like one time, one couple came and told me that we are going to Andaman Nicobar. Sorry, वहाँ क्यों जा रहे हो? The holy place जाओ. They're very new people. But afterwards they stop coming. Then they realize, Baba, you have to be very sensitive. You can't speak like the Sufi people, and think there. So you learn. So what I spoke was not wrong. But it's too early to speak to people. You have to give that space. And see, people will never tell that you told something wrong. Their enthusiasm will get cut. And therefore we have to be very sensitive while speaking to people. Our one word can break them up. People are very sensitive nowadays. Touch me not. Today's generation is touch me not generation. So we have to so to the degree you can be sensitive, giving respect to people and not correcting anything. Whatever they are doing, just encourage them. Then only people will stay. They are not ready for any corrections. और our advices, ये ऐसा मत करो, ऐसा करो, बोले देखो यहाँ आएंगे तो ये लोग पूरा माइक्रो कंट्रोल करेंगे हमको. So, and therefore to go deep in people's life, making them feel comfortable, that's what required to preach and transform people. It's an art. Especially in today's age. It's not that simple, just go and preach and it happens. You need to have a lot of sensitivity. Is sensitivity not maintain compassion? I don't remember the example. See, one example remember. See, one time, person was flying kite. And he was going, and at the edge of there, other person shouted, what are you doing? And then his life was saved. But if you feel, "Arey, no, this person, why should shout?" He won't die. So sometimes you may have to correct people in the same way. If by sensitivity we can make people devotees. Like for example, devotees are going for Harinam, and some a lady was there with a young child, and when they went through, they slowed down the Harinam. So that lady became very impressed by the sensitivity to the devotees, and she became a devotee. She appreciated it. So sometimes sensitivity is what people appreciate. So to be sensitive about neighbors is very important in preaching. Attract people to Krishna consciousness by our deep conviction, then pushiness. Logical step by step why Krishna consciousness is best versus giving a real taste of Krishna consciousness. And preach from heart to heart. If you are inspired by Krishna, others will also get inspired by Krishna. Krishna, if you feel Krishna is so nice, naturally in your talks will come Krishna is so nice. Then you'll also start feeling Krishna is so nice. Preach with compassion. Fish catcher. So one time, when Krishna, Jesus' disciple, he was catching the fishes. Peter. And Jesus said that rather than becoming a fisherman of fishes, become a fisherman of people. I mean, whichever fish is ready, take him out and offer it to God. So find interested people. Find interested people rather than making them people interested. So have more people, whom we can do. Then interested people give time. Generally, we try to give time to people who did not come. But worry about people who have come. In a program, suppose 30 people are supposed to come and 5 people came. So our worry goes, why 25 did not came? And you forget the 5 who came. The next time those 5 also will not. So, those who have come, your time is for them. And if you are happy with people, people grow. If you are unhappy with people, people go down. Remember this fact. So, dovetail them in Krishna consciousness, don't disturb them. Avoid feeling envious of non-devotees, for example, naked venture. Like envious means we want to pull them down. New people are coming, they're non-devotees only. So correct them, find fault with them. Therefore, if you're finding fault with devotee association, very difficult to preach to new people. Because a lot of tolerance is required, a lot of patience required. Francis kissed lepers. We are only asked to be kind to them. Francis kissed lepers. We only asked to be kind to. See, that's how they preach. That's how everybody is son of God. See, in Kerala, why there is so much Christianity now, this time Nambudri Brahmanas, they won't allow other people to come. And they consider other people untouchable. Now most of people become Christians. So if we don't treat people with love, then naturally that's why they will go. But if you treat with people with love, then why anybody will have to go? And our market is so big. So many people are ready for becoming devotees. We just need to give it rightly. So quality of our preaching should be judged by how much it relieves recipients of material life. Most of us came to Krishna consciousness not to help to others, but to help ourselves. Desire and willingness to preach is a blessing. See, people get impressed by going to a big temple. But that heart only gets touches when a devotee shows compassion to them. Big temple can impress people, but cannot touch heart of people. But devotee's dealing touches the heart of people. So enthusiasm to preach comes from Krishna. an association with Krishna's compassionate devotees. So compassion is very, very important in preaching, that you actually want that person to grow and solve. So when person gets love for Krishna, he develops two qualities: humility with Vaishnavas and compassion for non-Vaishnavas. The person has love for God, two qualities will manifest. One is humility, second is compassion. Let other people become Krishna's devotees. Or this person is suffering without Krishna, let him get Krishna. That's compassion. And real preaching happens in that mood of compassion. And in that mood of compassion, you don't worry about yourself much, you worry about others. Any questions? 3 lakh people coming in a day. Yeah. So Venkat Ganpa is an amazing point. See, because they don't talk about giving sense gratification, they talk mainly about take shelter of God and your material life will be good. And they provide free food, free shelter, so naturally material life is good. So that's the way of the preaching happening there. But we have to tell so much, don't do this, don't do that, don't do this. But Srila Prabhupada's preaching. Prabhupada did not tell so much, give this, give this, give this. Prabhupada gave them such a hiatus, they automatically gave it. So the point is, like when Bhaktivedanta Saraswati Thakur disciples went, somebody at Jetland asked, I want to become a Brahman, I want to become a devotee. They said, you have to give up illicit sex, you have to give up meat eating, you have to give intoxication, you have to give gambling. He said, impossible, I will die. And only they initiated one Mataji devotee. One Mataji then initiated itself, who agreed to follow 4 X, old Mataji. But then nothing left in the body to blame. So, but when Srila Prabhupada went, these hippies, they were living with girlfriends, taking drugs, doing so, he transformed them. By his spiritual Shakti, giving them the higher taste of Kirtan, Krishna consciousness. So when we make people float in the bliss of Krishna, people give up bad habits. And that's how Prabhupada did it. And if we do it, it's possible. Only we need Krishna Shakti, that faith. Though it's difficult, I agree, it's difficult in the Krishna preaching. We are telling people to give up sense gratification, but it's possible. And our preaching may not happen in mass number like 3 lakh people coming to one thing, but we may have 1,000 preachers preaching to 1,000 people each, or 300 people each, which comes to be 3 lakh. So we can have and there are many temples which have 30,000 congregation connected, 20,000 congregation connected. It can be easily built if proper principles are followed, proper systems are there of mentoring, preaching. You can have 20,000 people connected to your Visheshadi Puram. Now, right now our congregation 3,000 on whatever the data, 2,000 is there. So if you do it systematically, grow everything, it can reach it, possible, by care. And Indians is much easier. They're already following to some degree 4 regulative principles there. When they get Krishna Prasad, what taste onion garlic has? Once you get a taste for eating Prasad, there's no taste in onion garlic. What taste beer has? So we have, and that's a proper fed them so nice Prasad, they forget about meat. So we have such a nice process. And the power of holy name is such, the moment people start chanting the holy name, distaste for sense gratification comes, sinful activities come. One professor told me, he was chanting 2 rounds. His wife was not a devotee. She will force him to eat meat. But professor saying, I eat meat, but I don't get taste in meat now. You're chanting the 2 rounds. So that's the power of the holy name, the process Mahaprabhu has given. The transformation is possible. May not be that rate or that way, but surely it's possible. You can speak in the mic, yeah.
When we start preaching to new people, we should not talk about avoiding sense gratification.
Yes.
And all that. We should only talk about chanting.
Yes. That's how we preach. Sometimes occasionally in slides you may show, so they are aware. But you don't talk about. It will go automatically. आपके घर में आके थोड़ी ना मीट खा रहा है वो. Why you worry so much? He's doing in his home. Why you worry? Mahaprabhu did not say, Mahaprabhu said, chant Hare Krishna. And people will give. So as people's faith will increase, then we start introducing. Otherwise what happens, before they start giving, they give up Krishna and go away. एक बार कृष्ण पकड़ लेंगे ना, सब कुछ छुटा देंगे. हमारा सब कुछ छुटा दिया ना भगवान ने. Even household, even Grasta devotees, when they go to their parents' home, अरे तुम हो क्या तुम कुछ करते ही नहीं. Parents get shocked, even for a Grasta devotee, what to say of a boy or a brahmachari. बोलते हैं, समाज वाले बोलते हैं, तुम क्या हो गया, कुछ नहीं करते, पार्टी में नहीं आते, खाते नहीं, ये नहीं करते, वो नहीं करते, क्या हो गया. तो कृष्ण एक बार पकड़ लेते हैं, सब कुछ छुटा देते हैं. We should know how to give Krishna to others. And many people fear कि जाएंगे इस कॉर्नर तो छुटा देंगे. That's people get. Like one Mata ji came and वो काउंटर में किसी ने बोल दिया कि I want to join this classes, what I have to do. She said follow 4 graded principles. She was crying, I can't come. So our people are immature. Then how preaching will happen? You should know how to speak to people. It's little of
रथ यात्रा था, रथ यात्रा में पैम्पलेट बांट रहा था नए भक्तों को. तो वो बोल रहे हैं कि उनसे पैम्पलेट नहीं बांटना, उनसे लक्ष्मी पूछो, रथ यात्रा के लिए लक्ष्मी इंपॉर्टेंट है. मैं बोला था लक्ष्मी इंपॉर्टेंट, लक्ष्मी पहले उसको मंदिर तो आने दो, रथ में तो आने दो. वो तो कैसे कि उससे पहले रथ यात्रा, जन्माष्टमी.
एक्चुअली क्या होता है नए लोगों को, अगर आप पैसा मांगोगे तो शायद 10 रुपये निकालेंगे. अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस होगे तो 10,000 भी दान डोनेशन दे के जाएंगे. नए लोग मैं बता रहा हूँ, दे नीड अ गुड एक्सपीरियंस करके. तो डोनेशंस भी इंपॉर्टेंट है क्योंकि मंदिर चलाने के लिए डोनेशंस लगता है. बट यू शुड नो स्मार्टली हाउ यू शुड प्रेजेंट थिंग्स दैट पीपल फील इंस्पायर्ड टू गिव डोनेशंस करके. सो एक हुंडी में 10,000 रुपये आ गए. अब देखो 1 person put and don't is Jagannath poor that we have to beg people? If you follow Jagannath nicely, he will fill the temple with money. Because we're not following Jagannath nicely, then we have a dearth of money.
Prabhuji, just by humility and compassion, the audience has to also think that you are admirable, no? Yad yad acharti shreshtas. You have to be shreshta. So otherwise, the audience can also criticize your faults by.
See,
so isn't it shreshta being important? Like
it's not important. If you see the preachers, the successful preacher may coming from even an illiterate background. Like my spiritual master was telling, I'm a college dropout, and many IITians are sitting and hearing. It's a big laughter of God that a college dropout, and my college studies happen in the jungles. So what you need is realizations. Because even after doing big things, people are frustrated.
What was the difference between teacher and preacher you mentioned earlier?
Yeah, so teacher just simply teaches. Teacher simply teaches. स्टूडेंट को समझ में नहीं आया उसका मतलब नहीं है. Like college. टीचर पढ़ के जाते, बच्चों को समझ में नहीं आया उसका जिम्मेदारी नहीं है. Preacher means how should I present that at his level he will understand Bhagavad Gita. That's a preacher. You put your full consciousness. How can I serve the soul? By giving him knowledge of God. That's preaching. So there's extra effort or not? And mentoring means not only understand, how will you apply? So there is a much more endeavor required. Then people become devotees. When there is a teaching, preaching and mentoring. Knowledge, conviction and compassion. Yes, ma'am.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, many times we are only suffering with our own aparadhas, anarthas. So how will we feel compassion for others? So very difficult to, at least for me, many times we are working on, we try to see like what we are not able to follow. We are not perfect. So very difficult to feel, maybe it's possible for pure devotees like Prabhupada, but we are not able to feel that natural compassion for others.
Yeah. So this is general situation devotees faces. I also face in my life. अरे हमारा ये struggle हो रहा है, दूसरों को जाके क्या बताएंगे? But one beauty I have seen, when you engage in preaching, you forget your problems. Sometimes in spiritual life you have to forget your problems and anarthas. Anarthas will be there. Sometimes you have to just forget they are there, and over a period of time they will wash away. So one thing, we should take some guidance in our life from devotees. Okay, I'm facing this problem, what's the solution? And you can talk to them, discuss what solutions you can practice. So start applying that. So that way your spiritual life will improve. But sometimes we may too much also bother about the anarthas or the aparadhas. So we ourselves may not know, and this is a trick of the mind and that. Mode of ignorance. See, how the gunas tricks us is very amazing. The mode of ignorance may lead to self-pity, lamentation. That is not goodness, that is tamogun. And you may take tamogun to be Krishna consciousness. So we need somebody to identify in our life that this is tamogun, and you just get over it. And sometimes it may be satogun. In a satogun you are thinking I'm doing something wrong, then we need a corrective action and go ahead. But we need to apply a solution. Okay, this problem is happening, we should do that. And then when we start giving to others, then you don't get time to do aparadhas and think about anarthas. There is one very important thing in preaching, because preaching means you have to think about other. अरे वो प्रोग्राम में नहीं आया, ये प्रोग्राम में नहीं आई, इसका ये हो गया. Then you forget about your anarthas. And Anant Nivritti is a stage. You know the 6 stages of Anant Nivritti? 6 stages. Vyud Vikalpa, Vishya Sangara. You heard of them? This Madhurya Kadamini, they're very scientific. The first stage comes Usahamai. A devotee feels, I'm the best devotee, now I become a pure devotee. Second stage comes Ghana Taral. वो फिर अनर्था उसको ट्रबल करते हैं, घर जाता है तो बोलते हैं अभी मेरा कुछ हो ही नहीं सकता. Then third stage comes व्यूढ़ विकल्पा, कि मैं भक्ति को सीरियसली लूँ, प्रीचिंग को सीरियसली लूँ, या पहले अपने गृहस्थी को संभालूँ. Then fourth comes is विषय संगरा. Then he gets a faith, goes ahead And then he feels, whether will I able to struggle with my senses or not. He taken vows that I will control the senses, but I am not able to control the senses. So the stage of viewed vikalpa and the Vishaya Sangara is what the stage you're talking about. That you are so worried about your anartha then thing, you're not able to take any step. So this is, many of the sadhakas, they caught in this stage of viewed vikalpa and Vishaya Sangara. But what is the solution? Bhajan kriya. Nish aparad, attentively chanting the holy name, serving the Vaishnavas, opening our heart to devotees, taking the right guidance. Then you further go. Then you come to the stage of Nimashama, where you take some extra things in bhakti. I will do this, but you're not able to do it. And when you cross these 5 stages, you become very good devotee, famous devotee. Then come Tarang Rangini. And that goes to our head. And again, we may come back to Usamayan. So therefore, learning the Shastras scripturally deeply, has lot of impact in bhakti. Knowledge helps. So therefore, at right stage, sometimes we think, okay, just bhakti is automatic process. Just chant 16 mala, sab kuch ho jayega. It can happen if you're chanting namabhas. If you're not chanting namabhas, it won't happen automatically. We need a lot of knowledge. We need a lot of... See, very innocent devotees of Bengal who have no job, just, very cultured people. For them, this may work. But those who are dealing in the modern world, just chanting Namaparad will not work. It is a long process. One life Namaparad, second life Namabhas, third life Shudnam, then go back to Lord. But when there is a knowledge, Vaishnav Sangha, then in one lifetime you rise from Namaparad to Namabhas to Shudnam. So I hope I answered your question. Okay, so I think questions ended. It was already 9:50. Thank all the devotees. See, hopefully it... Okay.
It's not a question, it's a big, big thank you from my heart. It was so wonderful. It pointed out to me where my convictions were right and where I need to improve. Thank you, thank you, thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
Jai Gantashim Bhagavatam ki, Jai Shri Chaitanya ki, Jai Shri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu ki, Jai Shri Prabhupada ki, Jai Vanchakalpatarusya Kripa Sindhevcha, Padanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namaha.